I'm Justin Morris, Director of Strategy here at Modality Systems, and in this series we're going to explore how Office 365 can make your business more agile and competitive, alongside best practices for building an effective technology roadmap. Subscribe to the channel or blog to join the journey, and get in touch if you have any questions. Hey everyone, today we wanted to talk to you about how you can drive positive business change with Office 365, and I'm joined today by Ian Guest, our Global Head of Marketing. Thanks for joining us, Ian.
No problem, nice to be here, Justin.
Cheers. So, Ian, in your view, what are some of the key business drivers that Office 365 can address?
Well, Office 365 is a rich set of applications all in sort of one place, and it comes really when you look at some of the key drivers within the CIO, CTO. You've got the security and compliance. You've got the ability to make people more flexible, more agile, with the way they're working, anytime, any place, so that sort of flexibility there. But it's also joining together the disparate nature of so many of the systems that they would use in an operational basis. I think there was a stat that Gartner quote that sort of 30 to 40% of IT budgets on average are spent in combating shadow IT. And I think what Office 365 gives you is a chance to not necessarily combat and lock down, but actually to give something better.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, because I think it's all about creating a really rich employee experience, and IT being the partner of that, isn't it?
Absolutely, and IT are becoming closer locked now to the business needs, and the technology is facilitating new ways of doing things. It's that transformational aspect. And there's a lot of organisations looking to modernise, change the way they're doing, whatever their business driver is. IT have become a fundamental part now of actually delivering the solutions to help that happen. But people are very much still at the centre of the change.
Yeah, I think that's a really key part of digital transformation, isn't it?
It is. It's very much based around people. If we look at these days, if you look at projects, probably only 30% of them these days are actually based around the technology, because it's all available, it's all accessible from the cloud, you can switch it on and it pretty much works. There are some exceptions. But then you look at the other sort of 70% of that project, and it's based around the cultural change, it's based around the governance, it's based around the business process and aligning it, encouraging people to actually adopt and consume the technologies in the right way for them.
Yeah, I think on the adoption side of things, it might be a good idea to give a bit of an overview on some of the tools that are in Office 365. So I think we are covering a lot around Microsoft Teams and Yammer, aren't we, as well? But there's some of those other content elements of Office 365, like OneNote, I think, that you've had some experience with. And then also, I think SharePoint is a big central heart of Office 365 when it comes to working like a team, because that's really where a lot of the content sits, isn't it?
It is, and it's interesting to see that coming back to there's so many different rich applications within 365, and as a business, it's about setting the right ones and using the right ones for the purpose that you want to achieve. So I look at a couple of examples with customers. We have one customer up in the north, runs a safety business. They have put a big investment in Yammer. Because what they wanted to do is more crowdsourcing of ideas, the whole internal communications element to them. They're a very disparate business. So internal communications was a key thing. So they've put a lot of focus on Yammer in terms of spreading the news, making sure people are kept up to date, building the interaction, and actually reducing sort of attrition rates, so getting that engagement level up. We've then got another customer in the public sector environment that have started on the Teams journey. They've been on this modernisation strategy for some years now, and they've started to adopt cloud, a very big organisation, so it takes some time, particularly in the public sector. But they've moved down this cloud-focused strategy, and they've started with Teams. And Teams it's a great interface into so many of the different technologies, the SharePoints, etc., that you mentioned. But what they've done is they spent a lot of time working with the individuals, the groups, identifying the use cases for Teams and controlling it that way. They've done the work up front and preparing. One great example of a little team use case that they had was a group of health workers, where they suddenly had a great deal of value that they achieved from just using something as simple as OneNote and putting the staff rota in one place. For many of us, you think, well, that's logical, but they were sending this around via email and doing it in other ways. So suddenly it's formed a collaborative hub for this group of people and it's really improved the way they've worked, and it's all because of the preparation that they did up front. And there's numerous examples that they've done in the authority.
Okay, and I think there's an important element there in setting the right objectives, isn't there?
Yes, it's all about understanding what you want to achieve and setting those right objectives. And understanding is more than just the technology, putting the governance in place and etc. as we've already mentioned.
Yeah, I think there's key considerations for managing that change successfully, isn't there, around engaging with leadership and parts of the business and getting that adoption approach really right when it comes to enabling the use cases.
Yeah, and a lot of the work has to be done up front with that preparation. It is about engaging. You mentioned it earlier, that user experience. We live in a world where we're always on, we expect it now, everybody wants it instantly. We get bored if it doesn't happen straight away. That sort of mentality is also coming into the business. So it really, for business, understand what you want to achieve, understand the tool sets that match that, and then put the right process in place with the governance, with the cultural change, bringing people along with you on the journey. Yeah, I think that's really important. All right, well, thanks for joining us today, Ian. It's been really good. And if you'd like to know more about the adoption and change management needs and consideration for Microsoft Teams and the teamwork elements of Office 365, you can join us in the next vlog in our series where we'll be covering enterprise collaboration considerations with one of our project managers, Lindsay Ansell. So look forward to having you then.